Hey folks, how's it going? This is Seagull here. So Paralives Early Access is just a little over a month away, which is pretty darn awesome. I can't wait to play this game, finally! But it is important to know, it is early access, so they put out this new video reminding us that yes, it's early access. Oh my gosh, he's walking on air! So expect crashes and bugs to be very possible, things to run into while you're playing, but they do want to have Paralives in early access so they can collect feedback from us and have that help shape the future of the game. There are some basic systems in place like needs, wants, life goals, and careers. In terms of socializing, you can make friends, find love, or be mean. However, things like calling other paras and social events are not in the game yet. They will be added later. And when a para is born, gets married, or dies, there isn't really much surrounding those moments, but emotions and celebrations will be added down the line. In terms of the town, there is some stuff to discover, but besides some shops and collectibles to find, there isn't a whole lot. For the paramaker, you can fully customize and dress your characters, but some hairstyles and clothing items are still missing. There is a good selection of furniture and objects in build mode, and they'll add more in future updates. With the build mode, it is flexible, but important features are still to come later, like pools. Yep, we're gonna be without pools for a third time right off the bat. Basements, and more flexible stairs and roof tools. In terms of modding, here's some great news. At launch, you will be able to add all kinds of custom content to the game that players can easily find and install using the Steam Workshop. The one thing I've started thinking more about recently is, what about sharing houses? How is that gonna work? Will those also be shareable through Steam Workshop at some point? Or is it gonna be like the house is saved to some file under my documents and then I upload that to share with other people? Because I hope there'll be some way that we can do that too, especially for people like me who are more into creating characters and telling stories rather than building. Of course, you should be able to share other things as well, such as paras or furniture and clothing presets, so looking forward to seeing how they'll handle that. Or maybe that's actually what they mean by custom content. I just keep assuming custom content means things that you create within other programs outside of the game rather than things that you create within it. Another important point is that there are some features they've shown previously, like for example, you may remember a couple of really old videos where they showed Sebastian taking off his shoes and going ziplining. Well, those aren't going to be in early access at launch. Those will come later and they'll talk about that when they're ready. Early access is planned to go until at least 2027, where they plan to add things like cars, pets, and deeper parenting gameplay. They want to keep making the game better and have more depth based on our feedback, and they do remind us that yes, the future updates and expansions will all be free, which is a really bold decision. I respect the confidence. I just wonder how they're going to pull that off and stay afloat, because like, I'm not saying they need to release 20 DLCs a year, that would be stupid, but I think like, yeah, they must have made tons of money from their Patreon supporters over the years. Early access is not free. It is going to be $40 US, and then the 1.0 release is going to be a higher price that they haven't said yet. But I don't know. I still wouldn't have minded paying $20 for one expansion pack per year to help support this game. But if they really think they can do this, I hope it works out. It's definitely a new sort of thing to do for a life sim game. And yeah, it's definitely a very interesting choice. At least it's not a free-to-play game, thank God, because in my experience over the years, free-to-play games tend to be an excuse to charge way more money than your typical like $60 or $80 game through microtransactions and having so many of them and like ads and gotchas and all this other annoying stuff. Sonic Rumble finally just released yesterday and is getting so much backlash for its monetization, literally charging $45 for one legendary skin. So you could spend $40 to get Paralives early access, which, yeah, it's still early access, but will give a lot more long-term enjoyment than a single skin. Yeah, I know, I'm just rambling at this point, but it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous how gaming has gotten out of hand with its monetization in recent years. So I'm really glad Paralives is avoiding all of that. And Paralives is a single player game, not a multiplayer game that relies on online servers that may or may not even exist in 5 years. So that's another great thing for Paralives. Oh, wait, there was one thing I almost forgot to mention. We are actually going to be getting some raw live mode gameplay before early access is out, which is great. That's all I needed to hear, because that was something I've been concerned about recently. So I'm looking forward to that. But that's basically it. So feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Are you looking forward to Paralives? And what do you hope to see in the future? And be sure to subscribe to keep up with my latest gaming content. I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching.